Bill O'Reilly here, Thursday, September 26, 2019. You're listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. The White House defends President Trump's phone call with the leader of Ukraine. Mr. Trump's director of national intelligence rebukes the Washington Post. A majority of House Democrats now back impeachment. Iran says Israel is arming ISIS fighters in the Middle East. Barbara Walters turns 90. Also ahead, do you want the federal government to pay your bills? But first, the White House defending President Trump's private phone call with the leader of Ukraine. The unredacted conversation lasts approximately 33 minutes, with Mr. Trump asking for an investigation into the activities of then Vice President Biden in Ukraine. Democrats say that's terrible. Republicans believe the president did nothing wrong, and thus the controversy rages. President Trump's director of national intelligence directly rebukes the Washington Post. The newspaper reported that Joseph Maguire, who was testifying on Capitol Hill today, threatened to resign if the White House blocked him from speaking with lawmakers. Maguire telling reporters, quote, "I have never quit anything in my life, and I'm not going to start now." A majority of Democrats in the House now support impeachment proceedings against President Trump. 220 lawmakers backing some form of inquiry against Mr. Trump over his dealings with Ukraine. Just last week, less than half of congressional Democrats, including Speaker Nancy Pelosi, supported impeachment. Iran accusing Israel of arming ISIS fighters across the Middle East. President Rouhani in New York City says the Jewish state provides equipment and treats Islamic terrorists at Israeli hospitals in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Israel, of course, denies that, which does not seem very feasible, does it? A very happy birthday to legendary TV icon Barbara Walters, known as the First Lady of Broadcast Journalism. Ms. Walters began in the male-dominated newsrooms of the 1960s. She would go on to host a handful of TV programs, including Today, 2020, ABC News, and she created The View, which is lost without her. Coming next, my message of the day, which is a little complicated. The Democrats, mostly Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, are promising to pay most of your bills. Do you want that? Should that be what the government does? I'll get into it in the message of the day, coming up after these messages. You have been hearing about gold all over the news, and prices keep going up. Experts are warning that a recession might appear, and it's time to prepare. A recent analyst this week says he sees gold going up hundreds of dollars per ounce to hit $1,700. That's why I recommend that you contact the American Hartford Gold Group to learn more. To get you started, the American Hartford Gold Group will gift a free silver coin to all of my radio listeners. If you're listening right now, you can get this free coin from the American Hartford Gold Group. No purchase necessary. All you have to do is call 877-444-GOLD, G-O-L-D, Gold. 877-444-GOLD, Gold. Give them a call today to claim your free coin, available for a limited time only. 877-444-4653. That's 877-444-4653. Call now. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. While Joe Biden and Donald Trump slug it out over Ukraine, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are sitting on the sidelines gloating. It is to their advantage if both men, Biden and Trump, are damaged. Senator Sanders continues to propose giving away pretty much everything. A few days ago, Bernie said, hey, the government should pay for all your medical debt. Everybody's medical debt should now be picked up by the government. Hooray! Also, as you may know, Bernie Sanders has released a $2.5 trillion plan to guarantee everybody nice housing. In a statement, Sanders said the plan would, quote, guarantee every American, regardless of income, a fundamental right to a safe, decent, accessible, and affordable home, and would be paid for by a wealth tax on the top 0.1% of income earners, the billionaires. Sanders touts that 99.9% of Americans will not see their taxes go up because of his giveaways. But actually, Bernie Sanders wants to seize the assets of any wealthy person in the USA. Sanders' plan also seeks to invest $1.5 trillion over 10 years in the National Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It would also invest another $400 billion to build 2 million mixed-income social housing units. So Bernie's getting into the real estate business. Bernie Sanders says he would create an office within the Department of Housing and Urban Development to strengthen rent control and tenant protections, thereby pretty much putting private landlords out of business because Bernie wants to enact a cap on annual rent increases at no more than 3%. Sanders would also establish anti-discrimination protections for those receiving assistance against their landlords. So in addition to taking over the medical care industry, Bernie Sanders wants to take over the housing and real estate industry. Now, if you add the new housing deal to what Bernie's already said, it becomes astronomical. Medicare for all, $40 trillion Bernie will spend on that. Green New Deal, $16 trillion. Free college tuition, $2.2 trillion. Free housing, $2.5 trillion. You add it up, about $65 trillion in there and growing. Plus, Bernie Sanders supports free daycare, family leave, and on and on and on. Even guaranteed jobs and guaranteed income. There are 330 million Americans, and Bernie wants to pay most of their bills. Of course, his vision would bankrupt the economy and lead to the government pretty much running commerce. That's socialism. Remember, Fidel Castro could not even provide prosperity for 11 million Cubans living on a tropical island with verdant soil. Cuba remains impoverished. So all the free stuff might sound good to millions of Americans, but the problem is it doesn't work. And it will bankrupt the American economy, so everyone will suffer. Keep that in mind. And that's the O'Reilly message. Please check out my latest book, The United States of Trump. We posted an excerpt on BillO'Reilly.com, a website I think you'll like. Up next, something you might not know. The housing market on fire all over the country with interest rates falling. It's a great time to sell your home. If you want to sell or buy, the competition is going to be fierce. You need a great real estate agent to help you. That's why my friend Glenn Beck started the service realestateagentsitrust.com as a way to make sure you get connected with agents who are successful, ambitious, like-minded, and eager to help you with your biggest investment. These are agents with a long track record of performance. There are no part-time or inexperienced agents in Beck's network. These are all professionals who have the tools and the talent to successfully take you through the process. Market value for your home cannot be done by a computer program or an equation. It takes years of expertise to evaluate your market and to price your home to sell quickly for top dollar. These agents are experts in your town, and they do business like you with your values. So get moving today with realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. America has by far the strongest military on the planet. Our armed forces include Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and soon to be Space Force. And don't forget the Coast Guard. The USA spends 3 times more on defense than any other country, including our nearest rival, China. While the USA has the most powerful armed forces in the history of the world, we're not immune to defeat. Here are a few of America's toughest military situations. The Battle of Long Island during the American Revolution, the first major engagement after the USA declared its independence from Britain. 19,000 Americans versus 22,000 British troops on the hills of Brooklyn. George Washington forced to evacuate, ceding New York City to the Redcoats. 1814 and the Battle of Bladensburg, The British set fire to the Treasury Building, the Capitol Building, and the White House, forcing President James Madison to flee the city. First Lady Dolly Madison risked her life to preserve countless artifacts, including a portrait of George Washington. The White House would remain unoccupied for 3 years, but the painting is back there right now. By the way, America did defeat the British in the War of 1812. Next, the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876, also known as Custer's Last Stand. George Custer faced off against Sioux and Cheyenne warriors in the Montana Territory. U.S. troops were completely overwhelmed. 600 soldiers killed in less than 45 minutes. Their bodies stripped, scalped, and dismembered. You can go to the national site there, and it is very impressive. You'll see the entire battle unfold before your eyes. Next, a complete disaster, the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961. America blundering its way through a proposed invasion of Cuba, financing 1,500 exiles to overthrow Fidel Castro. It didn't work. And here's something you might not know. The secrecy of that invasion was ruined by the New York Times. On April 7th, 1961, the Times ran a front-page article entitled "Anti-Castro Units Trained to Fight at Florida Bases." Back after this. The American economy continues to grow, but that doesn't mean it's time to get complacent with your finances. Be proactive. Pay off high-interest debt. Take advantage of the market's low mortgage rates right now. Takes just a 10-minute call to American Financing. Their salary-based mortgage consultants can customize a loan to meet your financial goals. Whether it's getting out of credit card debt, shortening your mortgage term, or simply lowering your rate. Remember, markets are forward-looking, so many believe that mortgage rates have already fallen to fresh lows in anticipation of the September Fed meeting. So don't put this off any longer. Take advantage of a free mortgage review and see if you can save up to $1,000 a month or maybe even more. There's no pressure, no upfront fees when you call my friends at American Financing. 888-462-9557 is the number. 888-462-9557 or online at AmericanFinancing.net. American Financing, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.